Martha's Vineyard, the 4th of July 2025, 9:03 a.m. The ocean wind was whipping so hard my $40 black Sarah dress was trying to flip up over my head. I had one hand clamping the hem, the other clutching the $8 bunch of white daisies I'd grabbed at the ferry terminal. Standing behind the 200-year-old oak fence, I looked more like lost waitstaff than the granddaughter of the man in that casket. They hadn't invited me to the family row. The Crawford mourners. Only group chat last night had been brutal. Lillian Crawford Riley, stay in the back for discretion. Press is here. Press for real. 3 drones buzzing overhead like flies, lenses zoomed in on every fake tear Lillian shed into her $800 Hermes handkerchief. I counted 312 people in black. Senators, oil CEOs, a couple Hollywood stars who'd done Crawford Energy ads. They formed a perfect circle around the private hilltop grave overlooking the ocean. Walnut casket inlaid with gold, $280,000 carried by 6 white guys all over 6'3". I was outside the circle 47 steps away next to the navy blue trash can with the family crest hand embroidered on it. Riley. That raspy voice behind me made me jump. Cornelius Hart, Grandpa's personal attorney since 1978, stood there in a custom gray suit, American flag tie, because it was the 4th of July. 70 years old, dark-skin eyes that knew every secret on this island. Hi, Mr. Cornelius. I gave the little bow 26 years of know your place had drilled into me. He pulled me away from the trash can, positioned me right at the oak fence. You need to stand here. 5 minutes. 5 minutes till what? He didn't answer, just checked the Rolex Grandpa gave him for his 50th. 9:07 a.m. Trumpets started Amazing Grace. Everyone bowed their heads. I stared at Royce Crawford Jr., the man I'd called Uncle Blake for 29 years. He was performing, shoulders shaking, arms around Lillian like she might collapse. I knew he'd gotten Botox last week. I'd seen the receipt in the Dallas kitchen trash. 9:09 a.m. Cornelius stepped into the circle. Nobody stopped him. He was the only one allowed between the casket and the grave. He raised an iPad. Before we lower Mr. Royce Crawford Sr., I am required to read the final codicil to his last will and testament executed the 11th of November 2024. Lillian snorted loud enough for the drones to catch. More money to colored schools, I bet. Make it quick, it's hot. Cornelius didn't look up. He swiped. To my granddaughter, Miss Riley Amaya Harper, daughter of my late son Royce Crawford Jr. and Miss Delilah Harper. The whole island went dead silent. I heard my heart beat louder than the waves. I bequeath 100% of voting shares in Crawford Energy Partners, currently valued at $1,200,000,000. The casket hadn't even touched the ground yet. My daisies hit the grass. Lillian let out a sound like a duck getting its neck wrung. Royce Jr., my biological father, whipped around, scanning the crowd. His eyes locked on mine across 47 steps. For the first time in my life, he used my real name, Riley. Cornelius wasn't done. He raised his voice like he was swearing in a president. Together with the Martha's Vineyard estate, the Dallas mansion, the Aspen chalet, and all personal assets registered under Crawford Family Trust. Effective immediately. The wind flipped my hair wild. I stopped holding my dress. I stepped over the oak fence. 1 step. 2 steps. Drones swooped low, zooming on my face. I heard Lillian scream, "Security, security," but nobody touched me. Because Cornelius delivered the last line, any attempt to contest this codicil will result in total disinheritance of all other parties. That is the deceased's final wish. I stopped in front of Grandpa's casket. Looked down. He was 98, still wearing the 1,972 Super Bowl ring, the year he won the biggest bet of his life. I whispered loud enough for the drone mics, "Happy 4th of July to me, Grandpa." Then I turned to the CNBC lens, live streaming to 8 million people. Highland Park, Texas, 22000 SQ. FT, French-style mansion, 8 bedrooms, 14 baths, 1 kid in the basement. I woke up at 4:27 a.m., a full hour before Lillian's alarm. The industrial Whirlpool 50 kilograms washer was on final spin, roaring like a helicopter landing on my head. I was 114,979 pounds, wearing Uncle Blake's old t-shirt cut short as pajamas. 430, kitchen. I stood on the oak stool to reach the $5,000 Le Creuset and cook 18 eggs Benedict for my 3 cousins. Hunter 15, captain of the street. Mark's football team $42K divided by year tuition. Harper 13, Aunt Olivia's daughter already 190k IG followers trip 10. The baby still wetting the bed but owned a $12k electric Porsche 911. I went to public. Highland Park High caught the yellow bus at 605 backpack from Walmart $14. 455, laundry. I sorted 47 Brooks Brothers shirts, 32 Lululemon tennis skirts, 19-foot Joy golf pants. Uncle Blake's Creed Aventus was so strong I wore a medical mask. 530. Driving. At 14 I already knew how to drive Lillian's 2020 Range Rover to take the three little ones to school because the driver Juan had Saturdays off. I was in the driver's seat, Trip in the passenger playing iPad Pro 12.9, Hunter and Harper in the back arguing over Drake on the speakers. Nobody buckled me in. 555, Street Marks Gate. The guard looked at me like I was the help. Riley, park behind the kitchen, don't let the parents see. I parked by the dumpsters, walked 400 yards around to the service gate, then 3 more blocks to public school. 6:45 p.m. Home. Kitchen still looked like a war zone from breakfast. I washed 62 plates, wiped 4 Wolf stoves, folded 83 linen napkins into swans because Lillian had dinner guests. 730, dining room. I stood behind the bar in a black apron, stitched staff on the back, pouring lemon water for 12 adults. Nobody looked at me. Harper 13 snapped, Riley, more ice, hurry, guests are thirsty. I was 15, still in my public school uniform that smelled like cafeteria onions. 10:00 p.m, basement. My room was the old storage closet next to the water heater, 86 SQ. FT. No window, single mattress. 20-year-old box fan. Mom Delilah slept with me on a mattress so thin the springs dug into our backs. Mom had been the Crawfords maid since 1972. $1.200 divided by month, no insurance, no days off. When I was 16 she started coughing blood in the kitchen. Lillian drove her to the public hospital and said, Delilah, you're on your own, I'm not responsible. Mom died 3 weeks later. I stood alone beside an $800 casket on layaway. Nobody from the Crawford family came. Except Grandpa Royce Sr., he was 89, hunched leaning on his walnut cane, stood 2 hours in Dallas November rain. He pressed a thick envelope into my hand, little bird, here's 50 grand. When you're 18 use it to fly. I clutched it to my chest, rain, mixing with tears. At 18, I flew. I left with $800 in my Chase account, $650 Grandpa secretly transferred every month since I was 12, 1 suitcase of old clothes and a cracked screen Samsung. I caught Greyhound Hassan Zerozeranine at 3:17 a.m. no goodbye. Left a note on the Dallas kitchen counter, eggs in fridge. Coffee beans in pantry, I'm not your charity case anymore. Riley. Austin, Texas, from $800 to $4. 2M divided by year revenue in 8 years, 3:17 a.m., the 14th of June 2017. Greyhound Hassan Zerozeranine stopped on East 5th. I stepped off with a busted wheel Samsonite, $800 in Chase, stomach growling because 11 hours on 1 Snickers. First week crashed on a college friend's sister's couch, paid $200 divided by month rent. Week 2 5 a.m. barista at Houndstooth Coffee, $9 divided by HR plus $40 divided by shift tips. 3 p.m. 3 a.m. Uber Black in a borrowed 2008 Civic, $180 220 divided by night. 4 a.m. 5 a.m. online marketing classes at Austin Community College, Pell Grant covered 96%. I slept 2-3 hours a day, lived on Red Bull and $2 Whataburger jalapeno cheddar biscuits. 2018 invented Holy Glaze peanut butter frosting donut plus crispy bacon plus sea salt flake. Tested it at a $600 divided by month food truck on South Congress. Day 1 sold out 187 inches 4 hours. Week 1 line around the block. Month 1 $18 400 revenue. 2021st brick and mortar on Rainy Street 400 SQ. Eft pink neon Holy Glaze. Sinfully good. 2021 store #2 at Domain Northside. 2022 stores 3-4-5 inches Houston, Dallas, San Antonio. 20-2-3-6-7 inches Nashville and Atlanta. 2024 $4. 2M divided by year revenue 83 employees 28 years old wearing $800 Zara suits instead of $40 ones. 900 SQFT East Austin apartment, 30-year mortgage at 3.9%. balcony big enough for 8 mint pots for weekend mojitos. I no longer slept next to the washer. I had my own washer, Samsung Champagne Gold, with a bedding cycle for the $400 goose down comforter I bought myself last birthday. I no longer poured lemon water behind the bar. Now people lined up to pour money into my pockets. But every month I still got a text from Dallas plus 1214-555-0192 Lillian Riley, come home. Grandpa misses you. I never replied. I just blocked the number and transferred $500 to the scholarship fund for maid's kids at Dallas ISD. I'd already flown Grandpa. These little bird wings now spanned 7 shops, $4, $2M revenue, and a name nobody dared call Charity Case anymore. Martha's Vineyard, the 4th of July, 2025, 9:11 a.m., casket not lowered yet. The trumpets finished the last note of Amazing Grace. The walnut casket hung 60 centimeters above the grave on cables. Sky blue, not a cloud flag, snapping in the breeze. I was still behind the oak, 47 steps away, daisies scattered because I'd squeezed too hard. Suddenly every drone pivoted. Cornelius Hart, 70, skin like polished ebony, strode into the circle. Charcoal Savile Row suit, patriotic tie, church's shoes dusted with sand. In his hand, black iPad Pro, no folder, no envelope, just a screen. He stopped at the head of the casket, voice booming like Gillette Stadium PA. Before we lower Mr. Royce Crawford Sr. into the ground, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts requires me to read the final codicil to his last will and testament, executed November 11, 2024 and witnessed by 2 federal judges. Lillian snorted loud enough for CNBC drones, again with the charity crap. Read fast, Cornelius, the caviar is melting. The crowd chuckled, the laugh of people who'd never waited in a bread line. Cornelius didn't blink. He swiped. To my granddaughter, Miss Riley, Amaya Harper. Silence so thick I heard waves 200 yards away. Biological child of my late son Royce Crawford Jr. and Miss Delilah, Amaya Harper, formerly employed as domestic staff at the Dallas estate. Laughter died instantly. Royce Jr. Uncle Blake, for 29 years, let his arms drop like his bones had dissolved. Cornelius continued each word, a hammer on marble. I bequeath 100% of voting shares in Crawford Energy Partners LP, currently valued at $1,200,000,000 United States dollars, to Riley Amaya Harper, effective immediately upon my death. My daisies rolled down the hill. My knees buckled. I dropped under the oak palms on 200-year-old moss. Cornelius kept going. Additionally, the Martha's Vineyard compound, 42 acres, 18 buildings including this gravesite, title transfers to Miss Harper today. The Dallas Mansion on Beverly Drive, the Aspen Chalet, the Gulfstream G650 registration N88RC, and all bank accounts under Crawford Family Trust, total liquid assets $487 million, now belong to $87 million. Riley Amaya Harper. Lillian made a noise like a dog choking. She collapsed into Aunt Olivia's arms, knocking over an open 2012 Dom Perignon. Hunter Harper, Tripp, my 3 cousins I used to drive to school, stood with Ray-Bans dangling, mouths open. Royce, Jr. Spoon scanning. Eyes bloodshot, stammering Riley. Cornelius raised the iPad like the declaration. Any party attempting to contest this codicil will be immediately and permanently disinherited, with all their shares redirected to the Delilah Harper Foundation for Children of Domestic Workers. That is the deceased's final irrevocable wish. 300 heads turned at once. Drones dropped low 400mm lenses on my face. I was still on my knees, tears running into my hair, muttering 1.2 billion. I'm the legitimate granddaughter. Cornelius walked straight to me, offered his hand. Miss Harper, the casket cannot be lowered until you give permission. You now own the land it's standing on. I took his hand, stood. My left $40 Zara heel snapped, but I didn't need it anymore. I stepped over the oak fence. 1, 2, 3. The crowd parted like the Red Sea. I stopped at Grandpa's casket, looked down. He had the faintest smile, like he knew I'd come. I said loud enough for the whole island. Lower it. 6 pallbearers released the ropes. Wood hitting earth sounded like a starter pistol for my new life. Then I faced the CNBC lens, live streaming to 12 million. Hi America. I'm Riley Harper, the new owner of Crawford Energy. See y'all at the board meeting Monday. Dress code fired. Martha's Vineyard, the 4th of July 2025, 9:19 a.m., right on the open grave. The casket hit bottom with a final gunshot thud. Cornelius didn't let anyone breathe. He raised the iPad again, 12.9 screen on full. Ladies and gentlemen, the deceased left one final message. Date stamped January 8, 2025, filmed right here. He hit play. Grandpa Royce Sr., 98, sat in the exact leather armchair now beside the grave. Ocean behind, open hole in front, cashmere navy sweater, voice raspy but clear. If you're watching this, I'm dead. Good. Because what I'm about to say would have killed me from shame if I'd said it alive. The island froze. Just waves and CNN drones. Riley Amaya Harper is my granddaughter. Blood of my blood. Bone of my bone. He paused, stared into the lens like he was staring into my eyes. 1972. Dallas. My son Royce Crawford Jr. was 24, Delilah Harper was 19. She was our maid. One night he got drunk on Jack Daniels, and he raped her in the laundry room next to the dryer that Riley would later sleep beside for 18 years. Lillian's first scream pierced the air. Grandpa continued unflinching. I found out when Delilah was 5 months pregnant. I did the math. I knew. Instead of calling the police, I paid her hospital bills. I threatened to fire her mother if she spoke. I made her sign an NDA on a napkin. I am the coward who built an empire on oil and buried a crime under marble floors. Cut to him standing, cane pointing at the empty grave. This grave was dug for 2 people, me, and my silence. Today I bury both. Back to the lens, eyes red. Riley, little bird, I watched you scrub floors on your knees while my blood ran in your veins. I taught you golf swings but never taught you your real name. I'm sorry. This fortune is dirty. I'm giving it to you, so you can wash it clean. Video ended with him tossing a handful of dirt into the empty hole. Screen went black. Silence. 300 of America's richest standing on wet grass like statues. Then Lillian screamed something inhuman. She collapsed backward, Chanel skirt riding up, head smacking stone. 2 bodyguards rushed, one yelling, "Call 911," but nobody moved. Royce Jr., my rapist father, stood 7 steps away. Face ghost, white lips, trembling eyes on the ground. Cornelius raised his hand. An assistant brought a folding table and a special 15-minute 2, 3, and me kit. "Miss Harper, your grandfather requested final verification in public." I walked forward, barefoot, broken heel left behind. Swabbed my cheek in front of 300 staring eyes. CBS zoomed so tight you could see my tears hit the swab. 15 minutes. The temporary big screen flashed Riley Amaya Harper, 99.9998% match, biological granddaughter of Royce Crawford. Senior biological daughter of Royce Crawford, Jr. Collective "oh my God" rippled through the crowd. I looked at Royce Jr. and for the first time used the right title, Dad. He dropped to his knees on the grass, head bowed, dry heaving. Cornelius raised the iPad one last time, effective immediately. Miss Riley Harper is the sole voting shareholder of Crawford Energy Partners. Board meeting scheduled for Monday, July 7, 9:00 a.m. Central Time at Dallas HQ. All current board members required to attend. In person. Then he turned to me, bowed, 45 degrees, Madam Chairman. I stood there on Billionaire Island over my grandfather's fresh grave with my rapist father kneeling at my feet. I pulled out my phone, started TikTok live right on the grave. 28 million watching. I said, voice no longer shaking, "Hi, I'm Riley Harper. 10 minutes ago I was the maid's daughter. Now I own $1.2 billion and the company that ruined my mother's life." Part 6 drops tomorrow. I fire 11 old white men in 11 minutes. Stay tuned. Then I looked down at Royce Jr. trembling. "Stand up, Dad. You're blocking the view of my new ocean." Austin, Texas. Holy Glaze, rainy street, the 7th of July 2025, 5:58 a.m. Glass doors still taped, closed for private event. Inside, pink neon Holy Glaze, blazing smell of peanut butter bacon heaven, 5:59 a.m. My new Gulfstream G650N88 RC had landed Austin Bergstrom at 5:12:600 a.m. sharp. Doors opened. Lillian Crawford walked in, first, beige street. John suit, red Louboutins, hair in a bun already messy from crying. Behind her, Royce Jr. My bio dad in a wrinkled shirt, eyes sunken from 3 sleepless days. Aunt Olivia, Uncle Blake, Uncle Trent and the 3 cousins Hunter Harper, trip 9 Crawfords total, lined up like they were attending funeral round 2. I stood behind the counter in a black tee that said CEO and donut dealer holding a 60 centimeters wooden rolling pin. Lillian spoke first, voice hoarse, "Riley, honey, we need to talk privately." "Family." I nodded at my employee Zoe, 22, shaking phone ready. Zoe hit TikTok live, propped it high for full view. Trending duet sound, "Oh no, oh no, oh no, no, no." I looked dead at camera. "Good morning, America. 72 hours ago I was the maid's daughter. Today the Crawfords flew here to beg. Y'all want privacy, too late. 1.2 billion reasons to go public." Lillian paled when she saw 87,000 viewers in 8 seconds. Royce Jr. dropped to his knees first. Kneecaps cracked on Italian tile I picked last week. "Riley. Baby. Daddy. Daddy was wrong." He sobbed, tears hitting $2,000 Gucci loafers. Lillian knelt 2 Street. John skirt pooling in tears, "Your Crawford blood. Don't do this to Grandma." All 9 knelt in a row like sinners at the altar. Liv hit 1.2 million. I stepped from behind the counter, white Nike Air Force 1 second pristine, stopped in front of Royce Jr. "Look at me." He looked up, eyes vampire red. "For 29 years you let me sleep next to the washer. Now you're kneeling on my floor. How's it feel, Dad?" He stammered, "Daddy. Daddy will make it up. Anything you want." I smiled at camera. "Y'all hear that?" He said, "Anything you want." Comments exploded. "Take everything, Queen. Make him clean the floor. 1. 2B and therapy." I leaned down, whispered loud enough for the mic. "Want forgiveness? Fine. Each of you kneeling transfers 10 million to the Delilah Harper Foundation right now. Before I count to 10. Lillian yanked her Chanel bag, fingers shaking on Bank of America app. 1, 2, 3, $90 million wired in 47 seconds. Liv hit 10 million at 6:04 a.m. I stood tall, clapped. "Done. Now get out of my shop before I call APD for trespassing." Royce Jr. still clung to my leg. "Riley, you can't leave Daddy." I shook him off, ice cold. 29 years ago you left me and my mom. I'm just returning the courtesy." Doors opened. 4 new black-suited security, my employees, politely escorted the Crawfords out. Lillian got dragged, red Louboutins leaving lipstick streaks on my floor. I faced camera, raised iced coffee, 10 million views, $90 million in 6 minutes. Holy Glaze just got 12 new locations funded by tips. Thank you, Crawford family, for sponsoring. Then I killed the live. Zoe screamed, 12 million viewers, boss. I looked at the floor, those 9 knee prints. Grabbed the mop, cleaned the Louboutin streaks myself. Because this is my shop. My floor. My life. Martha's Vineyard, the 11th of July 2025, 8:57 a.m. Crawford Energy boardroom, black Rolls-Royce, Phantom 8 glided to the compound's main gate. Doors opened. I stepped out. Bespoke Savile Row charcoal suit, $5 200, sewn in 72 hours by 3 tailors flown from London. Shoes, red, sold Louboutin, so Kate Lillian's exact pair she'd abandoned on my donut floor. Bought them on eBay for $1 200 just to wear today. 11 white men, average age 67, sat around the 30-foot walnut table in the glass-walled room overlooking the ocean. Uniform, light blue shirts, Hermes ties, Patek watches. I walked in at exactly 9:00 a.m. Doors closed. Cornelius Hart behind me, iPad in hand, smirking like he'd just cracked a Swiss vault. Chairman Charles Chuck Langford, 71, wannabe Buffett, stood, fake smile. "Riley, sit at the head, will guide you." I didn't sit. I stood in the middle of the 120-year-old Persian rug, placed a pink Holy Glaze box on the table. "Morning, gentlemen. Fresh Holy Glaze, today's flavor is, you're fired. Who wants one before you leave?" Silence. I opened the box, took a sea salt donut bit, 9:01 a.m. "Reason you're still sitting is I haven't told you to stand yet." Stand. 11 men shot up like recruits. 9:02. I swiped iPad. Chuck Langford, 28-year chairman, yesterday wired $2. 4M to a climate-denying senator's super PAC. Fired. Chuck's mouth flopped open. Thomas Reed, CFO, 2019 awarded $87 contract to Shell Company, owned by brother-in-law. Fired. David Klein, general counsel, 14 years hiding 9 Gulf oil spills. Fired. I read name, crime, dollar amount one by one. 9:09 a.m. 11 men fired. Cornelius handed me 11 red envelopes. I placed one in front of each. Each contains termination letter, 3 months severance, and a one-way first-class ticket anywhere except Texas. Planes leave at 1100. Don't make me escort you twice. Chuck stammered. You can't. We have shares. I smiled. First real one in this room, 100% voting shares in my pocket. Your common shares just diluted to 0.08% at 8:43 this morning thanks to Grandpa's poison pill clause last year. Check Bloomberg. 11 old white men stared, faces hospital pale. 9:11 a.m. Doors opened. 11 black-suited security waited. Escort them out. No pencils. 9:18 a.m. Room empty. I sat in the chairman's chair, spun once, ocean view. 9:20. Doors opened again. Black woman 44 black pencil skirt stepped in. Riley Harper, that's me. Tiffany Okonkwo, MIT Chemeng. 12 years running shell rigs in Nigeria. Clean record, no husband, no kids, no golf. I offered my hand. Welcome new COO of Crawford Energy. Starting salary $4M divided by year plus 5% equity. Start now. Tiffany gripped tight. First I want to change the company name. Deal done. Harper Energy Partners, effective today. 9:05 a.m. I restarted TikTok Live, 41 million waiting. Update from Martha's Vineyard, 11 old white men fired in 20 minutes. First black female Texas oil COO just hired. Harper Energy officially born. Part 8, Lillian sues me for probate, guess who wins? I bit the last donut, stared at camera. Stay holy, stay glazed, stay dangerous. Dallas, Texas, Northern District Federal Court, the 25th of July 2025, 8:57 a.m., courtroom 3 packed. Press jammed, hallway drones circling roof. CNN, Fox, TikTok simulcast, 63 million live. Lillian Crawford sat plaintiff's side, black Chanel haute couture, $42,000 triple strand pearls from 1987 Vogue cover. Next to her 3 sons, Royce Jr., my bio dad Blake, Trent, all hollow-eyed, like 3-week benders. Their lawyers, Harrison and Associates, $2,200 divided by HR, stood Ivy League confident, Your Honor. Plaintiffs ask the court to declare the 11th of November 2024 codicil invalid. Reason: beneficiary Riley Harper is illegitimate, issue of criminal act, no inheritance rights under Texas law. Gallery gasped. I sat defense side, white, the row dress, $4,800, hair in high bun, no jewelry today, DNA does the talking. Judge Vanessa Rodriguez, 48, Latina, famous for hating billionaire, family drama, banged gavel, defense 3 minutes. Cornelius stood holding only a black USB. Your Honor, we need 2 minutes 47 seconds. He plugged into the big screen. Slide 1, my original birth certificate, the 3rd of March 1996, Baylor, Dallas. Line: Father Royce Crawford Jr., blue ink signature, grandpa forged for his drunk son. Line: Witness Royce Crawford Sr., second signature, bigger, bolder. Slide 2, DNA from 3 independent labs, MIT, Baylor, Genetics, 23andMe, Enterprise. All 3 red text, 99.9999% probability of paternity, Royce Crawford Jr., Riley Amaya Harper. Slide 3, never before seen clip of grandpa on his deathbed, oxygen hissing. If anyone dares say my granddaughter is illegitimate, show them this. I signed her birth certificate with my own hand. She is Crawford. Period. Cornelius turned to Harrison. You want more DNA? Got it. Grandpa's signature? Got it. Deathbed video? Got it. Now get lost. Judge Rodriguez checked her watch. 8:5947. Gavel cracked. Petition denied in full. Court costs $87,400 assessed to plaintiffs. No appeal. Courtroom erupted in applause. Lillian shot up, finger pointing. You black bitch, you'll never be a Crawford. I stood, walked to within 3 feet of her. I said slow, every mic catching. You're wrong. I'm not Crawford anymore. Company is Harper Energy now. And you, just the lady who used to own the Louboutins I'm wearing. I lifted my right foot, those red sold, so Kate's did a slow spin for the cameras. TikTok Live hit 80 million. Harrison tried to grab Lillian's arm, but she shrieked. I'll sue all the way to the Supreme Court. Judge Rodriguez, final gavel, Mrs. Crawford. I suggest you stop before contempt. Next case, security dragged Lillian out, still screaming illegitimate, until the doors slammed. I faced TikTok, held up the dismissal order, 3 minutes to kick 4 people out of $1.2 billion. Part 9 Holy Glaze, going to 120 stores. Grandma's funding expansion. Stay glazed, y'all. Austin, Texas. 18 months later, the 1st of January 2027. Austin Bergstrom International. 7:02 a.m. Brand new Gulfstream G700 painted mocha giant Holy Glaze logo on the fuselage, prepping first donut drop flight of the year. I stood on the tarmac in an oversized hoodie, gold lettered from the basement to the boardroom, ripped Levi's Mocha Air Jordan 1 second the pair I waited in line for at 19 with $160 Uber tips. $200 million cash, no loans, no VC. Turned Holy Glaze from 7 stores to 120 across 34 states in 18 months flat. Today store Hasantu 0 Times Square, 8:15 a.m., Times Square. 8-story neon just lit Holy Glaze, 120th store giant 3D spinning mocha donut topped with 24 kelvins gold leaf crown, new logo I designed the night Grandpa died. Line wrapped 3 blocks, NYPD shut down 42nd Street. I stepped out of the armored Sprinter wireless mic in your TikTok live. 94 million. Y'all ready? Square roared, glaze me queen. I cut the ribbon with 24 kelvins gold scissors, engraved Delilah Harper. Glass doors slid open. Peanut butter bacon, sea salt smell flooded the street. First 10 minutes 18000 donuts gone. 1030 a.m. conference call with all 120 store managers standing under new logo mocha donut plus tiny crown from the basement to the boardroom. I said one sentence. Today's revenue must break $2. 4M by 6 p.m. Hit it. $50 kelvins bonus wired tonight. 6:00 p.m. official $2 400,187 highest single day F&B opening in U.S. history. 8:00 p.m. I stood on the Times Square rooftop, staring at my own billboard. New logo glowing over Manhattan, mocha donut plus little crown. Scrolling text. From sleeping next to the dryer to owning the whole damn skyline. I opened TikTok one last time that day. 128 million live. Raised my hand, pointed at the sign. $200 million. 120 stores. 18 months. Nobody gave it to me. I took it. Bit the last mocha donut, stared dead at camera. 2027 goal 300 stores, 2028 goal IPO at 10 billion. Grandma watching, thanks for teaching me how to kneel so I'd know exactly how hard to stand up. Killed the live. Behind me, Holy Glaze lit up Manhattan. I was 30. From basement washer to Times Square penthouse. Holy Glaze wasn't just donuts anymore. It was the crown I put on my own damn head. Martha's Vineyard, the 4th of July 2027, exactly 2 years since Grandpa lowered. 6:58 a.m. Sun just peeking over the water, painting the family cemetery red. Grandpa's casket under perfect green sod, new marble headstone I paid for. He gave me his sins. I turned them into a crown. Today I get married. Location right on Grandpa's grave. Guests 400 friends, Holy Glaze staff and one very reluctant attendee. 7:15 a.m. Royce Crawford Jr., my bio father, delivered by 268 security guards. He wore a blush pink taffeta bridesmaid dress, knee-length puffy sleeves, giant bow at the waist, size 44, custom Vera Wang, $18,000. Baby's breath crown, silver 4-inch sandals. He was shaking. Riley. You can't make daddy wear this. I wore custom Oscar de la Renta mocha mermaid gown, 16-foot train, 88000 Swarovski crystals forming donut crowns. I smiled, handed my phone to the NYT photographer, get a close-up of his face. Caption: father of the bride, literally. 7:30 a.m. Jaden, my husband-to-be, stepped out. Black Tom Ford tux mocha lining, 24 kelvins gold donut flower on lapel. 7 years together, from $16 divided by HR line cook at Franklin BBQ to executive chef of the Holy Glaze empire. Music not Here Comes the Bride, but acoustic Sweet Child O' Mine. I walked the aisle of mocha rose petals, each paving stone engraved with one of the 120 Holy Glaze cities. 7:42 a.m. Reverend Aretha Jones, 62 blacks, stood between Grandpa's grave and a living altar of 8,000 stacked donuts. Riley Amaya Harper, do you take Jaden Malik Washington as your husband? I do, and I glaze. Jaden Malik Washington, do you take Riley? Hell yeah, I do. Rings, 218 kelvins gold donuts engraved, from the basement to forever. 7:48 a.m. I kissed my husband. Island applauded. Drones circled. 7:50 a.m. NYT photographer yelled bridesmaid's photo. I dragged Royce Jr. front and center, arm around his taffeta waist. Smile, dad. Or you're wearing this to the reception too. Flashes non-stop. 8:02 a.m. First photo hit NYT online. Billionaire heiress makes rapist father wear bridesmaid dress. Martha's Vineyard, July 4. 8 minutes 47 million views. 8:20 a.m. Reception, 400 guests eating donuts instead of cake, drinking Moet spiked with peanut butter syrup. Royce Jr. forced to stand 4 hours handing out donuts, required to say, "Enjoy your Holy Glaze," courtesy of the Harper family. 11:00 a.m. My final wedding day TikTok 15-second clip: me and Jaden cutting 7-tier donut cake. Royce Jr. behind holding bridesmaid bouquet. Miserable. Caption: married my best friend. Made my bio dad my bridesmaid. 2 years ago I owned nothing. Today I own everything, including karma. Number. Holy matrimony. Number. Glaze and Obey video. Hit 189 million views in 24 hours. As the sun set, Jaden and I stood hand in hand over Grandpa's grave. I whispered down, "Thanks for the 1.2 billion, Grandpa. I used it to marry the love of my life and make my mom's rapist wear pink taffeta. Fair trade." Dropped my bouquet on the grave, walked away. Royce Jr.'s pink taffeta fluttered in the wind, showing trembling legs. Final NYT shot: the bride wore mocha. The father of the bride wore shame. Martha's Vineyard, the 4th of July 2028, exactly 3 years since Grandpa lowered. 7:04 a.m. Yacht Glaze Queen, 120 feet, anchored 200 yards off Grandpa's grave, deepest water in the bay. I was 30 inches, a white silk robe, 3C curls dripping seawater, no makeup, no filter. Just a tripod and iPhone 15 Pro Max with shotgun mic. I hit rec. Hi, it's Riley. Amaya Harper, Washington. Today is the 3rd Independence Day. I'm actually free. This is my final will, notarized yesterday at Massachusetts Supreme Court, signed by 3 federal judges, live streamed to 312 million in real time. I held up the 42-page mocha leather-bound document, gold lettering, last will and testament, Riley A. Harper, Washington. When I die tomorrow or 80 years from now, 100% of my assets, currently estimated $4.1 billion USD, including Harper Energy Partners 2, 8. B. Holy Glaze, 286 stores. 1B. This yacht, this island, Dallas house, Aspen jets, jewelry, accounts, everything. Will not go to my husband, not to any future kids, but 100% to the Delilah Harper Foundation, dedicated to children of maids, nannies, drivers, cooks, janitors, kids born in basements, sleeping next to dryers, called charity cases. The foundation will pay 100% college for any child whose mom is domestic help. Provide free lawyers if they're abused, underpaid, or worse. Buy them a house at 22, no mortgage. And if anyone turns them into household slaves, the foundation will sue until that person is bankrupt. I paused, looked straight into the lens. Grandpa Royce left me 1.2 billion to atone. I took it, but I'm not keeping it. I turned it into 4.1 billion, and now I'm giving it back to the right people, the kids sleeping next to washers right now. Wind whipped my robe open. I walked to the bow. At my feet, another $8 bunch of white daisies. I knelt, tossed them overboard. They floated straight toward Grandpa's grave, same as 3 years ago. I spoke loud enough for the waves to record, "Thank you for the money, Grandpa. But I bought my freedom with my own hands first. Now I'm giving it away, so no little girl ever has to scrub floors to earn her name again." I stood, faced the lens one last time. This will is irrevocable. Anyone who tries to break it loses everything, just like the Crawfords tried to break mine. Signed, Riley, Amaya Harper, Washington, former maid's daughter, now the woman setting millions of kids free. I stopped recording. Video auto-uploaded to TikTok, YouTube, IGX, and CC'd every major newsroom in 4 kelvins. 42 minutes later, 1 billion views. Quote. Number: Delilah Harper Foundation trended Hasson worldwide for 72 straight hours. Noon same day, I stood on the bow watching the daisies reach Grandpa's grave. Jaden wrapped arms around me from behind. "You sure you don't want to leave anything for our future kids?" I turned, kissed him. "Our kids will build their own, like their mama did. No basement, no washer, but no billion-dollar head start either. They'll know the price of every dollar." 6:00 p.m. 4th of July fireworks exploded over the yacht. I opened TikTok one last time, posted a story, single photo of white daisies floating on blue water, simple white text. I was the family slave. Now I own the whole damn ocean. And I just gave it away. Happy Independence Day, little birds.